Cuba, it's me, Elian Habanero, episode 29 of the W.I.L.L.I.W show, which stands for Wrestling is Life. Life is Wrestling. So proud to be here. I love wrestling. I love talking wrestling. Want to be doing this show? Let's have some fun. I asked people to submit some questions for me, because I did that one time before about 3 weeks ago, and it went over pretty well. This time, I got a lot of questions again, although they're from like 5 or 6 people, and a lot of times they're talking about themselves. But I don't care. You ask the questions, I will answer them. I don't care as long as it's wrestling related. Now, let me see. What do we got here? Here is the list of questions. The first question was submitted by Tracy Yeager Eckhart, who is the PWA cheerleader. If you ever need a spray tan, get in touch with Tracy. She's the best in the spray tan business. Her question is, what would be my dream match? Dream match. Sorry, I said that kind of weird. My dream match, without a doubt. I always wanted this match, but I knew I wasn't ready for it. But now I feel I am, and it quite possibly could be too late. I wanted Geza Coleman Jr. I always had the most respect for this man, and I just wanted to go in there and see what I had. Like, see how I went up, stacked myself against that bar. So that would be my dream match. Geza Coleman. Doesn't look like it's going to happen, but I still have hope. I still, in the back of my mind, think just maybe one day. Maybe. The next question is from Braden Austin. His question is, if I could wrestle anyone in the WWE, who would it be and what would the stipulation be? Well, right now I think the person that's the hottest in WWE and that I think I could have the best match with would be Shinsuke Nakamura. Great in the ring, lots of charisma, and I think that me and him could have a fantastic match. I mean, who couldn't have a great match with him? And the stipulation would be, if I won, I got a job with the WWE. Thanks for your question. The next question, from Joey Allen. What's your favorite Joey Allen match? Okay, next question. But seriously though, there's been a couple. I don't get a chance to watch all the matches when I'm at the show. He's had a couple good ones with like Eric Carney and Hardcore Hick and Ruffy. But I'll tell you the best match ever that's going to be a good Joey Allen match versus Tracy Smothers. Joey Allen is going to step his game up to a whole new level. Tracy Smothers versus Joey Allen. Best Joey Allen match ever. And then, the next question is from Old School Jim Connolly. His question is, who is my favorite ref who is over 60 in Ontario working for PWA? Well, a couple of weeks ago, this would have been a no-brainer. It would have been you. But you did not accept my bowling challenge, Old School. And so therefore, you're not on the list anymore. So, there's got to be someone else. But it ain't you. But it used to be. The next question is from Raymond T. McHelman. It says, what are my thoughts on head injuries in wrestling? Well, we know a lot more about them. I think they're inevitable in any contact sport, to be quite honest. I think now that we know what we know about them, you have to be more cautious. Everybody knows their own body better than other people. Now, I've learned a lot about them from my good friend Mark Mandrake, who's a wrestler, but he also has studied this a lot in school and everything with some of the best doctors, like Dr. Bennett Omalu, who that whole movie was about, the concussion movie. And like back in 2006, I got told by the doctor that I should never wrestle again. Well, I don't like to live my life in fear. Like, I do have a cameraman now, and so I like to be more cautious. About 2 years ago, I had a severe concussion where I was knocked out and stretchered out of the wrestling arena. And so, you know, even though I felt like I could come back right away, I had some headaches. So I think with the head, you have to be much more cautious. So I took like a good 9 months off. But also, like I said, you can't live in fear. Like, I could trip just falling down the stairs and break my neck. So I'm not going to, like, stop myself from doing what I want to do. I just have to be more careful about it. But, yeah, I guess my answer would be that they're inevitable. You just got to be smart about it. The next question is from Brandon Hines. My opinion on wrestling the Bulldog. Well, I've never wrestled the British Bulldog, but I don't think that's what it means. See, Brandon Hines goes around calling himself Bulldog Brandon Hines, and I don't know if I like that. I think he should be just Brandon Hines. But you know what? He is, so there's nothing I can do about it. But I've faced him in the ring a couple of times, and I've had nothing but good things to say. I've liked the matches we've had. He's a great talent. He's come a long way. He's dedicated. He's had some fantastic matches out east, and I would love to wrestle him again. And now my next question is from Billy Anderson. His question is, what was my favorite match ever that I had in PWA? Well, I told Billy this, and I'll tell all of you this. Yesterday's episode, episode 28, I did a list of my top 10 favorite matches I ever wrestled in. So get your answer, check out that episode. My next question was from Braden Hart Collier. What are my thoughts on the Hart family? Well, I'm not going to turn this into a 4-hour episode, but I have a lot of respect for them. They've had a lot of contributions to the business. I've read all their books that any of them put out, and I was a mark for them. I went to the Hart Brothers School thinking that there was a lot of Harts there. I've got close with Smith. I've met a couple of the other ones, and mostly good things. I mean, as far as wrestling goes, hands down, them and the Anoya family probably have to be the greatest family in wrestling. So that's that. The next question is from Michael Jack Jones. What was it like being roommates with Ty Dillinger? Well, it was great. He's a good guy. I got along with him well. We were good friends. We loved having these wrestling talks where we would always be trying to come up with the cool move instead of working on a character. We always were coming up with cool new reversals or innovative spots. And we both like Vancouver Canucks, so that was a plus. But it was funny. Sometimes when we'd be watching wrestling, you could be sitting right next to him and talk to him and say his name, and he wouldn't even answer or hear you because he was so focused on wrestling. But he was a good roommate. We never had any problems, and I liked living with him. The next question is from Eddie Osborne. What was it like leaving Vancouver Island at such a young age and such a small town and moving to the larger Kitchener, Waterloo, Cambridge area? Well, there was a lot of good things because it was being sheltered living in such a small town, but it was definitely a shock coming there and seeing the way things is, but they had everything, and it was weird. Everything was in walking distance. What used to would take me just to walk to my friend's house, I could walk to the mall. It was just crazy, and being a young kid who was seeing the world for the first time, it was amazing. I could buy all the CDs I wanted. We used to have to travel 3 hours to get any good clothes or CDs or anything. So, I mean, I really liked it. They had a lot of great restaurants and stores, and close to Toronto, the Hockey Hall of Fame, the Raptors, the Blue Jays. It was a great experience. So it was good. It was a good experience growing up like that, and then when you first come out as 18-year-old to see all the things we've seen and be so close to the States and see Niagara Falls, it was really wonderful. I still live out here, so I do love it. The next question, also from Eddie Osborne. He says, on one of the past episodes, I was talking, what if Ontario, all the promotions unified together and recognized one champion in Ontario? And I guess he found that interesting because he asked, who do I think would be a good champion if we did have one good champion for Ontario? Well, it's got to be someone that's pretty cool with all the promotions, someone that has a lot of respect from the other colleagues and the promoters and whatnot. And there's a couple good guys. And I would say guys like Josh Alexander or Jake O'Reilly or even that Tarek. Am I saying it right? That guy. There's a couple good guys that work for a bunch of promotions that would represent us well, that we could all be proud of, that are good people. I mean, that's just a couple I could think off the top of my head, but there's quite a few others. But yeah, I guess it wouldn't be up to me anyway, because I guess the promotions would have to have a committee, a board committee, and they would have to sit down and cast votes. But that's likely never gonna happen. There's too much jealousy in wrestling nowadays, and people would stab each other in the back. But I like to dream. So those are my picks for now. The next question, also from Eddie Osborne. If I could only eat one food the rest of my life, what would it be? That is not a wrestling related question, so that doesn't get an answer. Worse question than the Joey Allen one. Then, also, did I ever want to or thought about quitting wrestling? My answer is no. There was a time where I had to take 2 years off because I had a lot of family drama and things with the cameraman and whatnot, and it actually worked out great because I had some really bad nagging injuries, so if I was going to take some time off, but every day that I wasn't wrestling, even to this day, if I only wrestle once a month or once every couple of weeks, every day that I'm not wrestling, it kills me inside. I would never quit wrestling unless I had no choice because of something physical, or I just couldn't do it anymore because I got too old. I think about wrestling every day, every second, every minute. I would never, ever think about quitting wrestling. Yeah, there's been times where I've been really down on myself for, sometimes if I had a bad performance or, I rubbed somebody the wrong way. I take those things really hard. I'm a very emotional person, but I never got to the point where I thought I would want to quit. This is all I ever wanted to do, people. All I ever wanted to do was be a wrestler, and that will never change. So what's the next question? When I was a kid, did I ever make my own shirts? And what does it feel like having my own shirts? Well, when I was a kid, I was very creative as far as like writing stories and like that kind of stuff. But I was never a good artist. I was a horrible artist. Like if I drew a cow, people would be like, "Oh, that's a nice horse," and I'd be like, "No, it's a cow." So I was never really into that. Maybe one or two times. Like I used to sometimes make my own belts, but they were always horrible. But I still had great ideas for them. I just could never execute them myself. And as far as how does it feel having my own shirts, it's a great feeling. Like when you're a kid, you dream about being in WrestleMania and having your action figure and everything like that. And even though it's on a smaller scale, when I see someone wearing my shirt, it gives me like this sense of pride. It's unexplainable. It's just like someone would wear a shirt of you. Like that's just a fantastic feeling, and I really like it. And speaking of that, go buy my shirt. So what's the next question here? Who is my top 5 favorite promo guys in WWE? By the way, these are all by Eddie Osborne. What an alien mark. I'm assuming he means current, so I'm just going to do current because if it's not, like, there's so many great ones in the past. But if he means, like, in WWE now, I mean, there's not really that many great ones, to be quite honest. Like, it's not, maybe there is, but they don't get a chance to show it. But, I mean, I guess right now it'd have to be, like, The Miz, Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, Ambrose and Wyatt, kind of. Cena's really good when he can do his thing, but, yeah, it's bad right now, like, some of the promos anyway. So, Joey Allen has the last question here. What is my favorite Ontario feud in the last 10 years? Well, honestly, there really hasn't been that many good ones that I can think of. Like, most of the feuds do not last very long now. It's usually, like, 2 or 3 shows. So there's been some good ones that way, but, like, ongoing feuds, that one with Rosemary and Cherry Bomb, or Ali, or whatever you call her now, where they, like, had it go on for, like, a year, that was really well done. But you don't see ones that drag on for very long anymore, and I wish they would, like, and sometimes, like, maybe be cross-promotional things, but honestly, maybe there has been, but other than that one I said, there's really nothing off the top of my head that I can think of. So, that's the list of questions. You sent them in, I answered them. I loved it. It's so fun. That's episode 29 of The W.I.L.L.I.W Show. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a show explaining why you need to change your character. You need something else. Something to do with your entrance. Something with a signature move. Something with your outfit. Something like a catchphrase. And why you need to do that to stand out from the pack. That will be tomorrow's episode. But remember, like, or you get a leg drop. Comment, or you get a clothesline. Subscribe, or you get a suplex. I'm Elian Habanero. I love wrestling. Cuba!